Hey guys, welcome to my Beyond All Reason Noob guide / my teammates were just mean to me, but I can accept that I need to improve guide / how do I get to Annihilator to stop flaming me guide. And I'm just gonna go over like a basic build order and some hotkeys that you can learn and some ways to practice this. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump into I'm going to play against an inactive AI. The way I'm going to do that is go in the menu, hit skirmish, choose which faction I want. I prefer Cortex. I'm going to hit skirmish, 1v1, advanced. This will come up. I'm going to remove this basic simple AI by right clicking, remove, and then clicking remove, click AI, or add AI, inactive AI. There we go. And there's a new map out that I kind of like, and it's called Proving Grounds. And I'm just going to talk about stuff. I'm going to hit start. Okay. So some things that we want to learn are hotkeys, a basic build order, and also familiarize ourselves with all the faction units, commands and stuff. I'm probably not going to hit everything, but I don't even know if I can pause here. But first I'm going to look at the settings. I'm going to look at this and think about, or look at some things. There's something like icon scale. I like to increase the icon scale. There is I'm gonna type. You can hit the filter, go on the filter and type it in to get certain things that you want. I go to game set target as default, so when I use the attack command, it's gonna set the target and the unit will continue to move and keep its target. That's really important. Icon scale. I'm trying to think of. There's a. I think it's high priority. Somewhere in here is maybe builder. Builder priority restriction. Construction turret. Blah blah blah. Okay, so. When rectangle drag selecting an area, exclude builder units. Hold shift to override. Okay, that's good. We like that. Builder priority restrictions. Set toggle to low priority. Basically, we want everything to be low priority except for constructors. Sets factory guard on default. Yeah, we can keep that. But you can turn that off. It basically when a construction bot or whatever is built by your factory, it will automatically assist / guard. Same thing. I used to play Planetary Annihilation. The guard command was called assist in that game. So I have to also fight myself to not call construction bots fabricators, or constructors fabricators. What's the next thing that I had in my head? This is really important. Repeat, auto repeat. Turn that on. Turn auto repeat on. It'll just loop whatever your thing is that you queue up on the factory. Your factory will never be idle. And if you want something specific, I'll show you how to do that. So then we're gonna look at like, okay, this is an 8v8 map. So this one doesn't have it doesn't show us any recommended landing spots, but this is I'm looking for like where's a cluster of mechs, and it's usually 3. This one is in 4s and 5s. This is a starting spot. This is a starting spot. This is a starting spot. This is. Oops. This is. And to draw, I'm holding the tilde key. It's a little squiggly. right under your escape key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's for 8 starting spots. And I'm just gonna tell you right now, I think that this map shouldn't have any utility players like tech or support or air or backline. I think everyone should go front. It's very important to just secure mechs. And by mechs, I mean metal extractor. It's all these points on the map. This is a this is a metal point or whatever you want to call it, and then you put a mechs on it. That is how you cap it and begin to get that income. You don't get this income unless you cap the mechs. Okay. So I'm gonna choose a spot and pretend that we're gonna say I'm gonna erase this by hitting this eraser button on the bottom right, and we're just gonna say that these are the mechs that we're gonna take. Actually, this is a bit more, but I end up having to take this because you're going to have teammates that don't take their mechs, and not taking the mechs is actively sabotaging your team. So you want to not let other people actively sabotage the team, because we're good, diligent players. And we want to make sure that we are playing our best in a very bare minimum optimized way. If we can't do this, we should be playing offline or co-op until we can. If we don't want people to get mad at us and flame us because we can't do the bare minimum fundamental things, that is why we are investing our time in learning this. Okay. That might hurt your feelings, but honestly, I don't care. But this is why we're here. So we're going to learn a little bit about our hotkeys. Another setting, I'm going to click settings. Under interface, I believe I'm going to click or type in grid. Building grid. I like to have the building grid, but I'm actually thinking of hotkey layout, so I have to find where the hotkey layout is. Controls keyboard layout. I do QWERTY. I don't know, this is probably like different types of keyboards, but I'm going to do the grid layout for the keybind presets. This is what I use. I'm not sure what Legacy is. I have no opinion about it other than that I don't use it. And it just makes sense that the grid layout will align the commands in your build menu on the bottom left here will align with your ZXCVASDFQWER. Okay, so we're going to familiarize ourselves with these hotkeys. Well, the first one that you want to learn is Z. Z will be, it's going to be the first one in the economy menu. So if I hit Z, it'll open up the building tab. Z is our metal extractor. X is our solar collector. A, energy converter. And these are going to be, these are basically the, you're going to want to learn all of these, but most importantly is ZXC for windmill, metal extractor, and solar collector. X will be our turrets. Utility will be like radar and Junos and stuff like that. Buildings will be, or build will be con turrets and factories. Okay. Let me think about how I'm going to do this. We're just going to try to do this in real time. So the first thing before you land,
game started.
2 or 3 mechs without walking. And then this is a no wind map, so we're going to build solar collectors. How many solar collectors do you want? Well, let's watch this energy bar. We're going to keep an eye on that. I know that if I try to build a bot lab or whatever before, let's look at this. If I build one solar collector, I can build this lab. Some people will say build a second solar collector. Not too sure, but the main goal here is that we're not going to overflow, like hit the max of our building or energy capacity. First thing I'm going to build is a construction bot and a grunt and a construction bot and a grunt and a construction bot and a grunt, and then I'm going to click grunt. So what I just did there,
Paused.
how do we do this? Okay. If I hold Alt, if I hold Alt, it's going to build that unit next in the queue. And sometimes it acts kind of weird, and it doesn't always act the way I expect it to, so I can't say too much about this. But construction bot, and I'm holding Alt, and then the grunt, it'll build a grunt next. Or not. It's going to act kind of funny because it's paused, but I'm holding Alt, con, grunt, and then I'm going to hold Shift, or space, Shift and space, and then this is what our build queue is going to look like. So I'm going to have one grunt for every construction bot to defend the construction bot. And then I want to make sure that my commander is doing something, and like while we're doing this, I'm going to build more solar collectors. And this, I'm going to select this is not a construction bot. So things are going wrong already, but I'm going to send this thing over here. And then I'm going to send this, I'm going to queue up orders for this guy before it leaves the factory. So what am I doing here? I'm pressing Z, and then I'm holding Z, and then it'll give it a command to build mechs in this area. So Z, press Z again, Z, press Z again, click and hold, bam. And then I'm not going to build any turrets, but then if I want to go further, I'm going to hold Shift, and then another thing is I can just right click this spot, and it'll put a metal extractor in the middle automatically, and I can do it manually like this, or I can do hold Shift, and then it'll just let me continue to click and drag with the building that I selected already. It'll keep it on that. So this grunt will be here, and it's there to defend this construction bot. My commander is idle. And you'll see at some point this build definitely wasn't optimized because we're about to stall. So what can I do in this situation? Well, I guess I can send my commander to the front now. Maybe this is not the best way to do it, but it's a possibility. Whoops. I guess a move command got in there, so we're going to correct that. Next construction bot, I'm going to give it a command to go this way, and then bam, 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 and then put a light laser turret there. That's about as far as we're going to go, because this will be like the division between our mechs and the opponent's mechs is about how it will be. I guess this is the center, which I haven't noticed before, but you want to be like, we'll be wanting to be aggressive to fight over that. But this grunt's going to be over here and over here and over here. So like, yikes, how is this happening? So if any light scout bots or scout units come in, we can defend against them. If I'm overflowing energy, I can do a few things. I guess we overbuilt energy or something here. But the first thing I can do is make energy converters to convert the excess to metal. You want to pretty early on build an energy storage, not like immediately unless you have a build specifically calling for that. And then I'm going to right click that. I'm going to take this factory and then right click it, and I'm just going to have it send the grunts to the front. But once you get, depending on like how confident your team is not leaking, we're going to switch to aggravators pretty early. And the reason this works is because we're going to have a bunch of light laser turrets on our front line to cover our aggravators or rocketeers, whatever they are. And that'll be a very solid offensive sort of thing. And then, whoops, we are almost out of energy, so I'm gonna build a solar collector. I'm going to queue up a solar collector with this by holding space, and it's going to immediately start building this, and then it'll return to the building previously. And if I wanted to, you can see how it's decaying. If I really wanted to micromanage this, I would
low power
tap this with the construction bot so this doesn't decay, but it'll finish this building. I'll hold space and then tap it, and it won't decay for a moment. But it's a situation to be avoided. All right. And then now I'm in the situation where I have no build power in my base, and I have all of this metal. So in a real match, we'd probably want to have build power already. We'd be pushing the middle here with our units. We'd have many more light laser turrets set up, and we wouldn't be forgetting to cap every mechs. We missed one there. So something went wrong here.
Game paused.
So we can start over at this point. So let's get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of the build order. I'm not 100% sure of like what is the solar build order. It's probably 2 or 3 or 4 solar collectors before you move your commander out, but
choose your starting location.
We're gonna try to take everything in here. So we're gonna land, have this commander within build range of this,
Game
and
started.
I'm going to build units within this build range without my commander moving. And then I'll queue this up, and we'll just chill for a moment while this builds. We don't have a whole lot to do. When this factory comes up, I'm going to hold Alt and construction bot, grunt, con bot, spam grunts. Right click towards the center, and then it'll start building one of the things. I couldn't tell you reliably which one it does because it just does whatever it wants, it seems. So this construction bot is going to grab mechs in about this line. And then I'm holding shift while I'm doing these orders, so it'll build in this order. Okay, maybe we are going to go with 4 solar collectors. On win maps, we can more aggressively be assisting things, but what it looks like to me is that if I built another solar collector, we're going to stall on M, or on metal, and if we stall on metal, then it's going to slow down our ability to build metal extractors. So instead, I'm going to let these construction bots assist my factory. And if I'm smart, I will have this grunt cover this construction bot, and I can hopefully be paying close enough attention to it. And looks like at some point we might be low on energy, so we're going to keep an eye on that. If this gets too low, it's just we had to switch gears to increase our metal income because we were going to stall. So I'll select both of these construction bots and add in another solar collector because it looks like we're definitely going to stall out on energy if we don't do that. And solar collectors are free. They don't cost energy, so that's one thing. They're usually not. It depends on the map, but usually you want to go wind. But if the wind isn't significantly better than the solar, then you can skip out. And I'm looking at this. We're stalling on energy. Just gonna add in another solar here. So at this point, we have a decision to either aggressively make more units, but I'm gonna switch to aggravators. We're still not spending our energy, so I'm gonna build another solar collector, and I may decide to make another construction bot, but we want to get a construction turret in our base very quickly, very soon. And in the front lines, we want to, well, we have a decision to make here. I don't know what the best thing to do on this map is, but I'm just going to say that I'm going to send my commander to secure the middle here, because that's a really, really valuable spot. At least make him fight for it. Offer some resistance. Yep, we are still eating through our energy, so we're gonna add in another solar collector. And I think once we're feeling like we're spending all of our energy, or we're keeping up on energy, I'm gonna switch to a construction turret, which might be right now. So I'm gonna build the construction turret right now. Bam. And it'll automatically start assisting this factory when I missed this again. So once this is done, I'm going to tell this construction bot to finish that construction turret, and then walk here and secure this mechs. And this one's, I held shift when I gave this command to build this, or I held space when I gave this command to build the construction turret, so that's a thing. Looks like this is around the time we're getting close to, we might start making a solar instead, but not quite there yet. A solar costs 4,000 energy. We don't have that yet. And then, but what we can do is, well, we're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to make a, what are we going to do?
We're wasting energy.
We're wasting energy, so I'm going to make a solar energy storage here, and then add in another construction turret. And look at all this metal that we have. So we want to spend this metal, and preferably we want to convert that metal in the fortifications on the front line.
No power.
And units. And then one more thing is, there's this geo here. I want to have at least like 3 or 4 construction bots. So one thing I could do, I'm going to build 3 construction bots from my factory here. And then I'm also going to take these 2 bots, and once they're done with what they're doing, they're going to go cap this geo. But we're stalling on energy right now, so I'm going to, this is going to be a little bit fiddly. You don't want to get yourself in this situation because you have to micromanage your way out of it. Or I'm going to build more solar collectors, basically. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and just add in solar as fast as I can by micromanaging these con turrets. While I'm building a con turret, like I'm stalling E, so I'm not able to use all of my build power available to me. So the first thing that we want to do is get E really, really quickly. Okay. Now we got some energy in the bank, so we can make at some point a solar without stalling, and gonna send these over to cap this geo. Nothing's going on in the front, but there'd be fighting here, but let's just concentrate on this. I'll be adding more turrets up there, and maybe like one of the bigger T2 turrets. Another thing is you don't have to go asolar too early on these no-win maps. I'm not sure what the breaking point is, but like asolar is sometimes it's okay to build it on win maps, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's just it's something you want to do that's like a little less tedious. See, I can just keep making these solars, and then, oh, what I'm doing here is I'm giving these the repair command, and then I can right click, or I'm gonna press R and hold, and a lot of commands have this contextual thing where even the attack command, if I press and hold, it'll tell it to attack every specific unit in that area, and it'll actually, if you do it with the attack command, they'll automatically try to concentrate fire on one guy at a time. And then I can make another solar here, and see how we're just like dumping out these rocket bots really fast now. But they walk, so it's going to take them a while to get up there. So that's what we got going on. What can we do next? Well, I want to get to T2 now. So I'm going to...
You are wasting energy.
Usually you want to have a few grave robbers or res bots to be reclaiming stuff on the battlefield. We have a lot of energy in the bank, and we're actually wasting it. So one thing we can do with that is build more energy storage, valid, and we can also do energy conversion, which is also valid. When do you want to build T2? Usually when you're already winning the game. Otherwise, you're going to get caught putting in this huge investment and not being able to defend yourself, and you just lose. Look, we have a lot of energy. Even while we're building this T2, we're not spending all of it. So what can we do? We can increase our build power if we're not spending our metal. Well, with priorities, we have enough energy, so now we're eating into our metal much faster. So the next thing is, if we're floating E, you want to go for finding ways to spend that E. Usually metal conversion is really good. And what I'm doing here is let's talk about area building. So ZA we're going to choose whatever building that we want, and then I'm going to I can click like that, or if I hold shift, it'll build in a line, or if I hold shift and alt, it'll build in an area like this. Another cool thing is, well, we want to upgrade our mechs as soon as possible. So, especially, we want to cap our mechs and then upgrade our mechs as soon as possible. And then once we do that, we can start going for advanced energy and conversion. What I like to do is make a small army of Twitchers without stalling my E. But I'm going to take this factory off of factory guard, and then I'm going to take the factory and then tell it to guard this T2 con. And then they will come out and immediately start assisting this constructor. I'm going to... I give it these commands, but also I can get these Twitchers move faster than the T2 con that I have. So what I can do is the Twitchers I can start the building and then have other things finish the building, basically. And then I'm going to use a control group for this. I'm going to hit control 3, and that's going to set up a control group. And then it's just going to be every time I double tap 3, it's going to select that selection that I created when I hit the control button with the unit selected. And I'm going to keep an eye on this E. if I'm eating through my energy supply, I'm going to hold shift and right click this metal extractor so this guy starts coming. And then another thing that you can do is, if I'm really want to min-max here, I can ask for a transport or build my own transport, but I want my construction bot to be on my control group 2, and then I'm going to send this air transport. This is kind of advanced, but this is something that you can definitely do and will benefit you a lot. And I can even continue building twitchers depending on like how much pressure I'm feeling, but I'm going to pick this up with the air transport and then tell it to go over here and drop it off, and it'll start that. And then if I don't want it to land, I'll hold this and then give it a patrol command nearby, and it'll just kind of chill there. Continue scaling over here. Twitchers, I love twitchers. They build construction turrets. So if you want to, let's pause here. If your construction turrets are built right next to each other, they are going to chain and all get destroyed at once. You're not losing a whole lot of efficiency by just spacing them out by one, and it mitigates that gigantic risk. Same with windmills. If they're more packed than 2 by 2, they will all chain together. When 2 or 3 die or get blown up, they will all blow up. You don't want that to happen, so all that you have to do is I have a side button. The 2 side buttons on my mouse will A for construction turret. I can click. It's not even working right now. Usually, let me think.
Started.
Okay, it doesn't work while you're paused for some reason. The side button doesn't work while it's paused. So, yep. This is kind of complicated, but VA, press and hold.
Game started.
VA for construction turret, press and hold, Alt and Shift, move the mouse out, press Z and X, Z or X to change the distance. You only have to distance them by 1, and then you can do a grid like that. Usually 3 by 3 is fine, but I think 5 is about the furthest you can go, but some of them will miss when you're trying to assist a factory. So anyway, I'm gonna
power.
This guy is idle. I don't want that. We really screwed up there. We need energy right now, and we're blowing through it by making these twitchers. So let's upgrade this Geo. It's gonna explode if it blows up, so don't let it blow up. Yeah. It's only dangerous if it gets blown up, so don't let it get blown up. Pro talk. Yep. Also, construction turrets cost a lot of energy to build as well. So that's going to keep going on, and I like building Twitcher armies, but you can get yourself in this... You don't want to get yourself in this situations where you just don't have any military units, so be careful with this. I got to 30 OS doing this, but be smart about it. Another thing is, we have all this mobile build power. You can build giant aphis farms, but with this, you can get away with just having one T2 con, and we can build fusions with this Twitcher army. And also the benefit to Twitchers is that they have decent build power, and they give you, and they're mobile, and they provide energy. Not a lot of energy, so you can't rely on them entirely. But if we're at the point where we can think about conversion once this thing is here. Once advanced Geo makes enough to fuel the conversion of 2 advanced energy converters. We're also building this here. If you're don't make more E when you're floating E like this. Floating is what I mean. We have more of a resource than we can spend or store. Floating also means that you just have like way too much in your storage at a certain time. And I'm going to make sure that I tell these guys to build the conversion first, and then that way we can start converting this energy. Money in sooner is better. Okay, and then this is why you want to queue up things far into the future. I'm gonna let this bam bam bam, it's gonna start building that, and then I'm gonna pick it up, and then I'm gonna drop it here, give it a patrol command, let it do its thing, and then we have all of this. Normal solar isn't that efficient, but it's what you start with. I'm just gonna, this is what my bases end up looking like lately. So we're gonna eat all these solar collectors. It seems about the time that it's appropriate to do so. It's gonna tap and go, tap and go.
You are wasting metal.
And also I can put a factory in my base in a control group, so I can double tap it and it'll just send me to my base. I don't have to zoom out and look around for anything. And I'm going to continue building up build power in my base. Tap and go. Hopefully we didn't miss too many. Another thing I can do is it's going to be a bit slower if you don't assist your construction bots to upgrade your mech, so that's why I like to assist them. But it's not horribly slow. It is kind of horribly slow, but it's better than nothing to just send lone construction bots out. I don't know about how the whole conversation about min-maxing that, but bam, this is a good spot to build a Cerberus. So like, why don't we just build a Cerberus here? It's under combat. Instead of making an advanced geo, we'll build a Cerberus here. They're just insanely good. Cerberus can lock down an entire area up to even T3. I'll tell it to attack ground somewhere. These things are terrifying. Yeah, that would hold down that area like nobody's business. Okay. I'm a wild guy. When I have these giant Twitcher armies, I build my Aphis farm in a dangerous spot. You can do that, but actually, let's not do that. It's not gonna cost us anything to just build back here. Okay, we have more conversion than we need right now, which is fine. I really like building sumos. They are a solid unit. They're a good all-rounder, and they don't get torn up like jelly. Or is that the word? I don't know. But they're not flimsy, they're not squishy. Here's what my bases normally look like now. I may not even have this Twitcher army built. I'll like stop at 10. So we can let's just stop building these Twitchers. But I'll show you just how crazy you can scale with these buggers. Okay, another thing is once we're at this stage, when we're wanting to scale, a good thing to have is a air factory. And I don't know where T1 con is. I guess there's one right there, but Twitchers can build a T1 con. Usually any combat engineer can build a basic unit, so I'll build like 3 construction aircraft there. And then I could at some point, I probably don't have to do this right now, but I can reclaim my energy converters so I don't have to explode them, but I can also explode them. But if they're in a dangerous spot, it might... See, that almost blew up my advanced solar. So one thing I can do here is I am going to do a little bit different with building these construction turrets. I'm going to hold V, A, Shift, Alt, Space, VA, and Shift, Alt, Space. Okay. How do I... This gets complicated. So VA to... I'm going to press that to have this, and then I'm going to press and hold with Shift and space, or Shift Alt Space. And what this is going to do is it's going to tell these air units to build these buildings individually, which will be at this point in the game a lot faster than having them build them individually. And I can also build these here. You can make a 4x4 grid of APHIS, but I like to leave it at 3 right now, so both sides reach everything. And I'm going to do a grid of 3 within a 4x4 grid or whatever here. Or these 4 boxes, like this is 4 of the boxes. But I space them out by 1 to be safe, so my day doesn't get ruined. And around this time, we'd be 20 minutes or on a map with an okay amount of metal. We'll be building T3 at this point. Once this is built, this is not necessary this early. I want all of my build power to be centralized towards this factory. There's other ways to do it, like I could show you what your average APHIS farm looks like and how it would proceed. So how do we build this? 4x4. We're gonna have these bigger boxes where we know that we want at least 1 box here for energy conversion, and then we're going to build two lines of 4x4, or like 2 lines, 4 construction turrets across. It'll look like that, and then at some point it's gonna get fiddly, so we switch to air cons to start our T2 buildings. I love Shivas, so I'm going to queue up Shivas to the front. So we have this advanced construction aircraft.
T3 unit ready.
And it's going to build. We're going to start in the center, because in the center, that's where all of our con turrets are in range. And then off to the side, we build up to rows of 6, but the closer they are to the con turrets, the faster they will build, because more of them will be in range. I think 3, no, 3 up to 4, I guess, but the 4th row, it gets pretty far out. It gets a little fiddly after that, and then there'll be a point, like, if you want to continue to aggressively scale even faster, you can build T1 construction aircraft. And you definitely, I will, like, the cost of an experimental gantry is about the cost of an APHIS, so just keep that in mind. With these big projects, you kind of want to centralize everything to one thing at a time, and it's even okay to, oh, we went for the APHIS first, but you want to go fusion first most of the time. So, in this case, if we're spending all of our metal, so we don't need more construction turrets right now. It's not gonna, excuse me, it's not gonna do anything. So we put all of our build power on the APHIS, and then the next thing that you can do is I'm going to, my factories are on repeat, so I only have to click this once. Construction aircraft, turn off factory guard, right click the what fucking roommate's walking by and I'm talking like a nerd. The advanced construction aircraft, and the T1 is going to assist the T2, and it's going to build really, really fast. And then I'm going to keep an eye on this and make sure that our conversion is balanced with our energy production. This thing is idle, so it didn't get selected. And then I can control group this guy, so I can come back and I can easily find it without fiddling around. And where would I build my T2 gantry in this? It would be at the front here. If I wanted to do that, if I planned ahead, I wouldn't have built this here. I would put it in a grid going backwards and then moving forwards, just so these con turrets in the back won't feel left out. There we go. Keep that going. And this is what terrifying scaling looks like. Still not building this like I would like it to. But remember, at some point you have to convert. You actually have to make units. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much your income is. If you don't do anything with it, you're just gonna die. And then if it's like late game, I'm not a huge fan of planes, but once you're so far ahead, it doesn't matter what you build. But with this setup, you'll get yourself in the situation where you just can't, like, you filled all of this out. So I will reclaim a 3x3 grid of these construction turrets once they're not doing anything else, or I just need them to do something else. These are going to get reclaimed, and I can stick a T2 air factory in here, and then you'll notice that your metal income goes way down, because then you start building T2 aircraft and they just suck up energy, and you're just like, well, shit. Same with building nuclear missiles. They can tank your economy. They cost a lot if
you are wasting metal
early on. So this is one thing that we could have going on. And then when you want to switch to T2, you don't have to continue having your air cons building the eco. You can just have these assist the T2 factory for extra T2 or extra build power on the T3. And remember, you can only really accomplish this by taking your mechs and upgrading them and managing your economy properly in the beginning. Otherwise, like, everything else, this game is about exponential growth. So if you're not doing things in the correct order, then you're just stunting your growth basically. Oh no, one moment. I think I might have to do a part 2 of this because my computer is it does this thing where it freaks out. I don't know why. There's something wrong with my interface. Yeah, that's kind of basically it. What else can we do? I think it's fine. If you get yourself into a single player match and just like build each factory, tell them or familiarize yourself with every unit. So just like, I'm gonna build every one of these and just kind of figure it out.
Juggernaut is
you
ready.
can tell them to attack ground and see like what does this thing do. See, a Juggernaut has like this giant laser and then some sort of projectile and then a missile. Don't ever build demons. They're terrible units. They're basically gifting metal to your opponents. Karganeth are really nice, but my favorite unit is a Shiva. And you'll mostly just see me building Shivas and Juggernauts. Not so much Behemoths because they take so long to... Unless you want to build a forward factory. And we could do that. If I wanted to build something forward, if I wanted to build spam in the front, or I would take some air cons or whatever cons that I have available. I'd set these up, and if I want even a bigger group, the first thing is
you are wasting metal.
I'll make a line of con turrets without having them separate, and then I will make con turrets that do separate. Don't do this online because it's going to lag the server. If you're going to issue certain commands that give the command to individual units, you are trolling if you use a whole bunch of units because it'll lag the server. But I can do this offline without that happening. So I would just decide to be a decent human being and select a smaller amount of my T1 aircraft to do this. So maybe I'll grab this here and I'll build a block over here and then a block over here, and then I'll grab or build another T2 air constructor, and then that worked out pretty nice. I'll build this here. I think I built these too far out. Whatever. So we have this giant thing I overbuilt. But when you have these things, you can still build like I did back here. A little bit different looking farm. And the benefit of this is it's kind of tedious, but it's, I think my audio interface is not freaking out like I thought it would. It goes bzzz, it makes annoying sounds. And the only way to fix it is to reset it, and then it can build these further up. Remember, you can build. You don't want to overbuild build power. Like, you want to balance it so that you have just enough to be spending your metal. And then we get that. And see, like, at this 6th ring, none of the con turrets are in range to assist this factory, so they're just doing nothing there. Another thing is that you can do T1 scaling, or T1 converters are pretty okay with scaling because they don't cost They cost a little bit less on the energy to build in the first place, and they're cheaper on build power, I think, and they get built quicker, so they pay out faster. So, if you want to look at the, if you want, like, if you, it's kind of annoying. I wish they would fix this, or if there's a way around this, but you can hover over a thing on in this build menu and hold I, and it'll tell you all these stats, but it'll be covered up by this other thing on top of it, which is kind of annoying. I wish the extra details would cover or replace that. But you can click a building and hold I, and it'll give you this context of all the little stats about it. So energy converter costs 1 metal, 1,250 energy, and 26,000 or 2,600 build power. And then if I hold shift and do if I click and drag, then hold shift, it'll select everything. Usually it will priority will go to units, and your construction units won't be in the, you have to go out of your way to select whatever. If even one unit is under this click and drag box, your combat units will get the priority. So you have to hold shift. One way to do it is to hold shift and then go into this menu and then click the units that you want. Or you can double click the unit that you want, and it'll select all of them in your view. But I am looking for a T2 construction bot, so I'm just going to build that right there. It'll get finished pretty quickly. Hold I. Yeah, it's a little bit, I mean, it costs energy. I'm just trying to think with the amount of conversion. I think it's much cheaper on the energy and the build power, which is why they say pros, pro scalers will stick to T1, not forever, but just longer. We have all of these Shivas. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Your commander has a D gun. Be willing to use it. This is a fun little thing that I learned recently, is that you can cloak your commander so it can't be seen, but it's not invisible to radar. But if you get it under a jammer, it'll be completely invisible. If we built a Juno, it's gonna take a long time to build that missile though. So, but a Juno, everything in this range, radar, jammer, radar units, jammer units, and any really tiny units that are like considered scout units will get destroyed automatically within that range, as long as the Juno missile is active. And that's what if you're playing and you see this storm happening, that's showing you where the Juno is active. And the range of the Juno is basically it's not really showing us right now. Hope this doesn't end the game. Might end the game. What else? Is it gonna let me keep playing? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, that's just really good for D-gun situations to get yourself out of a bad spot. But any amount of tactics will not get you out of getting outscaled. So prioritize scaling and as hard as you can without getting eliminated, basically. Do we want to... Should I do a run through... of like what it looks like? Should I? Because then we're getting into 1v1s too. Or maybe we'll do a little bit of a 1v1 sort of thing. Add AI, Barbarian. No, we have to hit settings. I'm going to put this on the hardest setting. Hit start. Where's it? 1v1s will keep you honest and accountable. But this map is really high in wind.
Starting location.
Usually we want to, when we choose a starting place, it's usually going to be somewhere that is easily defended. Or not easily defended,
Game
or
started.
Or as far forward as you can, so you and in a centralized location. But there's other things like to consider. You have to look at like what the mechs, where the mechs are with the highest value. But on this map they're all 1.8, so usually the default on Isidus Cracks is this map. And yeah, this is just a pretty good all-rounder. We'd be watching the wind. The wind sucks right now, so I'm gonna build, I guess this time we're building 2 solars. And remember what we did last time. Click the factory, hold Alt for our construction bot and grunt combo. It'll look like that when I hold shift and space, and then we'll get this. Okay. The wind still sucks, so I guess we're gonna make another solar. This construction bot is, we don't want to make LLT too soon, light laser turrets. So first I'm gonna tell it to build the LLT, and then, or I'm gonna build it, tell it to build the max and then the LLT, and then I'll queue up another order. Our commander is idle, we don't want that. I'm gonna queue up this. Oh my god, the wind is so bad. If it's under 8, you can make a wind instead. So build that. LLT is like somewhere like this, and then you build another one down here on this map. Usually pretty good. That'll go down that way. I'm keeping an eye on my energy. Wow. Solar is really metal expensive, so I can't even justify building the solar here. I'll send that forward. Uh-oh, there's a tick. He's ruining our day, but we built this grunt, so we can even better have that in a position where it can be defending. So I want this grunt to go cover this.
Wasting energy.
I want the grunt to cover my expansion. This construction bot's going to go back here, and it's going to look like that. Build wind in the back. When we're at the max of our energy storage, we can assist our factory. Or like, this is a situation where we're just gonna turn the commander off of high priority and just have it assist the factory. But the ultimate goal is to get our commander off the factory, so I'm going to build the construction bot first, another one, and tell this guy to build a construction turret. I'm thinking ahead for when I build T2, so I want this to be in range of everything. So if I tell it to immediately build it, as soon as it gets out of the factory, it'll block the factory, and the factory won't be able to build anything. I'm going to take this off of high priority because I want my expanding constructors to have the first dibs on the metal. available. And I could even, if my build power and my commander is not being put to use, I'm just going to tell it to go
Unit
grab
lost.
metal extractors. And if I'm comfortable, if I have enough units, we're mostly just going to be spamming grunts for now. And we definitely wanted to have radar earlier, but I blocked my commander in my base, so I'm going to reclaim one of those windmills. He's got incisors, and that's kind of scary, but incisors can't be... There's going to be lots of them. And we're just going to be poking around with these grunts. Try not to lose units. Whoops. Send him back, and I'm just...
Low power.
Want to be... you almost want to be defensive with your units a lot of the time. But like right now we're stalling on energy. We're near zero, so I'm gonna prioritize some more windmills. And once I'm getting ahead on the wind, or on energy, what is he doing up there? Once we get ahead on the wind, we'll get an energy storage. That's so obnoxious.
Low power.
I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing up there. Okay, so be poking around. The AI is smart, it has LLT in the base, but I can poke around. I'm finding some targets of opportunity here. Still not enough E. So I can pause my factory just so I don't have to micromanage my base. Stuff is going on there. At some point, res bots are insanely good. We might need to do that, or get them at some point. So I'm eventually. Oops. Can degun this. If he had more turrets, I played a match earlier and lost my commander by walking into a bunch of turrets, and I only expected one to be there, but there was way more. We have a lot of metal, so like we definitely want to invest in build power and energy to be spending this. And also you can switch to incisors or blitz at this point. They are just better, I guess,
You are wasting
for
metal.
many reasons. My finger is on the wrong spot. Okay, there, that is, you can see that that's probably a warden or something. Okay. All right. We need even more construction bots to be making T1 wind, or do wind scaling, because wind is really good on this map. And I'm wasting metal, so I'm not.
Metal
I can say that
extractor
I'm
lost.
mostly just talking.
Low power.
I'm blaming that. These can get reclaimed. But this is why you want to have an LLT in your base, so you don't have to pay attention to that or get caught off guard by that. I can just poke around here. And if I looked away, I would have lost all these units, but I can. This LLT usually. Well, I guess that at that point it was able to shoot. Oh my god, my commander might die. I'm gonna back off and try to. If he microed this, I'd be dead. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. That's why we want to have plenty of energy in the bank for plenty of D-guns. Well, that's just one
Low
reason.
power.
And then I want to make LLTs every once in a while. And if I don't want to lose my build queue, I can just hold space and then put it into the queue. And I'm just gonna pause this factory because we're struggling so much to just get enough energy income right now to spend our metal. If this was a human opponent, we'd be pretty much wrecked. Okay, one thing you can do is click this Q mode button or press Alt G to switch between Q and quota. When you put quota, it'll make this up until that number of that type of unit first, and then move on, and it'll replace units up until that number, basically.
Metal extractor lost. You are wasting
I wish
energy.
you wouldn't do that while I'm recording. I guess I'm terribly sorry about that. I want to get to the end of this vehicle. We're trying to make resbots. I am so distracted right now. You see how, like, it's making these ticks, and they're just because I can't have everything everywhere. I'll keep on top of them. And I don't have turrets there to deter them. They are picking off my mechs. I don't want them to do that, so this is why we make copious amounts of defensive units. And also when we're being aggressive. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I hate when I hate how squishy buildings are in this game. It's so punishing. So with these resbots, I'm going to press W and hold, and then spread it out. And I want to prioritize resurrecting the metal extractors. This is the most unprofessional thing ever. Now I think I'm winning, but you can I've learned to stay on T1 for much longer, but you have some options to like go air before T2 and make medium tanks. Medium tanks are a pretty good closer. I'm not gonna go for his base first because that's where the most defensive units are gonna be, so I'm just gonna go around the perimeter. This is getting too close. And I'm gonna be claiming these metal spots. Whoops. And I accidentally destroyed his commander. So it's kind of like a preliminary thing. Yes. I think that's about it. Questions, comments, concerns, want me to review your replay? We can set something up. Leave a comment in the description. Try not to get flamed by me next time. Have a wonderful day.